Hello, and thank you for joining us for our registration process instructions part 2 video. So I hope that you've watched the part 1 video, and we're going to be covering some of that stuff again in this video, as well as some new stuff that we haven't covered yet. Just as we did in the first video, we are using an event entry document. This one is for state summer games. So the sports will be for state summer games. Just as in the past, we have this example tab at the bottom that has written out instructions on how to complete this document, as well as example athletes and coaches. If you go to the event import tab, this is where you will be completing your delegation's information. Then we have athletics, bocce, and beach volleyball as the sports for our state summer games. So these tabs not only include the events that you can choose from, but also their codes that will be needed when entering in events. So back to our example tab, you can see the first section is this owner section. You need to leave this blank as it is for state office use only. And we have graded out for your convenience so that you remember that this can stay blank. You do not need to fill it in. Do not put anything in this section. The next section is the role section, and this can be A for athlete, C for coach, V for volunteer chaperone, or O for other person, which could also be bus drivers or other roles that you would like to attend the event. And they'd be labeled as O. So if you go to the event import tab, this is a drop-down menu, so you will click on the arrow. You can select which choice, or you can use the up and down arrow on your keypad on your computer and either press by clicking on it or by pressing enter, and that will be inserted into that box. So the next sections are first name, last name, gender, and date of birth. To get this information the most accurate, you'll go to GMS, log in to your area's account, go to find people by personal data, and then you can type it into the family names section. So we'll use an example. And here you can see the exact spelling of the last name, first name, date of birth, and the gender. And that's what you're going to want to add. So you'll match that up and type it into the event import tab. Gender is also a drop-down menu of male and female, M and F. You can either click on it, or this is a section where you can type it in. But if you try to type it in with this full spelling, an error message will occur. And this is nothing to be scared of, but you can just use the drop-down menu. It just means that it's not one of the options that we offer in that section. So after you've double-checked with GMS, made sure that you have the correct information. The next sections are coach's name and coach's phone number. This should be the name of the coach attending the event and the cell phone number that's best to get in contact with them during competition. So if something were to occur day of the competition, we want the phone number there that will be the best to get a hold of them. So do not put home phone numbers, as that could not get to them. So we want it to be a cell phone number that they can have easy access to at the event. The next section is delegation. This can also be known as area, group. There's a few different names for this. So when you're typing this in, what you want to do is go to GMS. We showed you in the past video that you can use this drop-down menu, press these arrows, and you'll have a list of your options. But what you can also do is if you go into an athlete's profile, and you look on this group section and at times the additional groups, you'll find the group name, delegation name that best fits for that athlete. And then you'll type that in right here in the delegation section. You want the spelling to match exactly, so make sure that you're double checking with GMS. The next section is the sports section. The sport is the sport that person is competing in. You don't need it to be filled in for coaches, as we will know from return to play requirements. If you go to the event import tab, this is also a drop-down menu. And this does say volleyball instead of beach volleyball, but it is the same sport. So select what you want, and then you'd move on. The next section is event code 1. These are the events within each sport and the codes that directly connect with that event. These codes are very important. They must be exactly what we have in GMS. You can find that in the tabs. These are the exact codes that we want you to use. Or if you go to the event import tab, you can see we've also added all of the codes into that section as well. So you can either use your mouse, just scroll and find what's needed, or you can use the up and down arrow and press enter or click on the code that best suits. You can also insert it by highlighting all of the codes, pressing copy, and this is best if you have a lot of athletes being entered in the same events, if you don't want to keep flipping back and forth. And then you can paste it into the side and it'll be available for you right there. And then all you have to do is delete it when you're done with it. The next section is qualifying score. So for qualifying score, it is not needed for this event specifically, but if you have it available, you can enter it in this document. For team sports, it is not needed because we have the 3 game scores that are on the website. But again, this event, it's not needed. So for the formatting, for distance scores, such as you can see for this track and field, it is 4.5 meters. That's what you're going to want to do. It is 0.0 for meters. I am highlighting up here at the top the correct formatting for the scores. 0.0 meters for distance events, things that need to be measured in a distance. For scores for races or things that need to be timed, the time format is 00 minutes, 00 seconds, 0.00 milliseconds. So minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. As you can see here, it would be 45 seconds for this 100 meter or 20.04 seconds for this 100 meter. The next new section that we have is Team 1. This is the team name for team sports and relays. So the section of this is a little different. Again, it's only needed for team sports. You can see for bocce doubles and for volleyball team, the names are different. We want to do it like you have in the past on GMS. So for bocce doubles or relays or things like that, you would put your area. So in this example, A15, and then the last names of those athletes. In this case, it's Plum and Smith. If there was a relay and there was 4 people, you would put all 4 names here, 4 last names. So if you're adding a volleyball team or any other team sport such as that, you will use the team name that we have used as area and then the team name. So in this instance, it would be A08 Warriors. If you have multiple teams, you can add all of your teams, making sure that if they're all on the same team, they all have the same team name. And then you can add the second team after that with any other team names needed. So after that, you would continue for event code 2 if available, or event code 3 and qualifying score and team if needed. And then at the end is this processed and processing log. These are again also for state use only, so you do not need to use these. Leave them blank and we at the state office will handle it. So you can see here, this is where qualifying score would go if needed, and team names, and so on. We have also added this tab for this event specifically, a form of transportation. So when you turn in this registration, you will select whether that person is coming in a bus or a van, or if your area is coming in a bus or a van. And if you do not know, answer to the best of your ability on what is most likely to occur. When you have completed this, you have entered all of your people into this event import tab. You will then send it to your regional forms email, which can be found right below here. So for Northern and UP areas, it is somiforms@somi.org. For Southwest areas, it's sw.forms@somi.org. And for Southeast areas, it's se.forms@somi.org. So now we're going to be going through some examples. I will clear this to give us a fresh start. And so we will start with role. I'm going to be entering an athlete. So I will select A with the first name, last name, gender, and date of birth. I'm going to check with my GMS by searching the person's name and pressing search. Because this is a made-up person, I have compared it to their profile. I will add their coach's name and the coach's phone number. Their delegation name, which I have found from this drop-down menu. We will use Area 5. And for this sport, I'm going to use athletics. So I don't know the athletics codes off the top of my head. I'm going to go to the athletics tab, highlight it all, right click to copy, and then go back to the event import tab, scroll over and paste. You want to make sure that this is on the outside of the processed and processing logs because it could mess up format if you add it in here. So off to the side is the best bet for where you want to put that. So then you go to the event code 1, click the drop-down menu. We will have this person entered in the 100, the 200, and the 400. If you have qualifying scores, you can enter it. I will say that this athlete does in fact have qualifying scores. Please don't mess with the format of this section because it is set up so that you can type in exactly that format and it won't autocorrect or change, and there will be nothing that could be messed up. So by using my time format for scores, I'm going to enter, he did it in 0 minutes, 30 seconds, and 0 milliseconds. For the 200, we'll say that he did it in 1 minute, 15 seconds, 3.2. And for the 400, we'll say that it was actually 3 minutes and 5 seconds. And that person, we are having our area use the transportation of a bus. So moving on, you can add next another athlete. We'll say this. And as I'm going through entering these people, I'm always double checking GMS to make sure the spelling and the date of births and everything is exactly the same. They have the same coach, which it will auto insert that name if they're exactly the same. Same with delegation name. So if you are using a different delegation name, be sure to make sure that that's different. So they are also in athletics. I can scroll over to see what events the codes are. So we will have them in the 100, the 200, and the running long jump. Now we'll say that Sarah doesn't have qualifying scores for the races, but she does know her qualifying score for running long jump. This is a distance measured score, so we will say that she did it in 2 meters. And you always want to measure in meters. She's also traveling on the bus. So to give some examples of team names, we can show you another athlete. We'll say this is and this is a new sport, so it's a new coach. But also with Area 5, they are going to be entered in the same delegation. And I will do bocce. So for that bocce, we're going to go to the bocce. You can copy if needed, going back. You can either place it below or instead of this by deleting that. They're going to be bocce doubles so that it is a team. And for this team name, we will say that it is area, oops, that is the wrong section. Area 05, Matthews, and then their team name is entered. Since bocce, you can also do singles. You could also enter the singles code here. That is up to your area. So remember that you want to be entering your coaches too. So we could enter Sally, enter her birthday. You don't need coach's name or coach's phone number. You could also add delegation. If you want to add coach's phone number there, you can. It's their own phone number that you're going to want to add. And same with the other coach. So just make sure that you're adding volunteers and coaches as well. For team sports such as beach volleyball, you will enter your athletes, everyone that is on the team. This sport is volleyball. There's only one code, so I think I can remember it. But again, if you need to, you can copy and paste it in. No need for qualifying score, but the team name for this is going to be Area 05 Hurricanes. And you want to add everyone in underneath them with that Area 05 Hurricanes. A fun thing you can do is if you click on this bottom right corner, you can drag it down without letting go of the mouse, and it will fill it in. What you can also do is right click, press copy, highlight as many boxes down as it goes, depending on how big the team is, and then right click and paste, and it will also give all of those. So you can either do it by dragging it down or the copy and paste. It's really up to you. So then once you have everyone done, everyone entered, all athletes, all coaches, all volunteers, all other person roles, everyone that could possibly be attending this event, you've entered their form of transportation, whether it all be on a bus, if they're planning on coming separately in a van, however you think that your area is going to be traveling to this event. You then will send it to your regional forms email down below here. I'm going to make it bigger for you as well. So again, Northern and UP areas, send it to somiforms@somi.org. Southwest areas, send it to sw.forms@somi.org. And Southeast areas, send it to se.forms@somi.org. You can also email those emails if you have any questions at all about this process. If you have any questions on how to enter, who to enter, what to enter, we are always here to help you. And thank you for being on this video with us. Have a great day.